There are moments in history when silence speaks louder than cannons. Moments when a single man's refusal reshapes the meaning of obedience. It was during the dry months of a long border conflict, a forgotten war where pride ruled more than justice. The 17th Infantry Battalion had been stationed for weeks along the cracked ridges of a desolate plain. Dust coated the uniforms, the rifles, and even the spirit of the men.
Among them stood Private Aaron Doss, a young recruit, barely 20, known for his calm eyes and measured voice. He had joined not for glory, but to serve, to protect what he believed was right. Commanding the unit was Captain Viraj Sen, a decorated officer, with more scars on his pride than on his skin. He believed fear kept men loyal, and on that day, he decided to remind them.
During a surprise inspection, the captain demanded something unthinkable. A farmer's house nearby, accused of aiding the enemy, was to be burned without proof as a warning to others. He ordered Aaron to light the torch. Around them, the battalion froze. The order was clear, the hierarchy absolute. Disobedience meant ruin. Yet Aaron's hands did not move. His voice, calm but firm, carried across the tense air. "Sir, my duty is to defend our people, not destroy them." The silence that followed felt like the world holding its breath. Captain Viraj's eyes hardened, his jaw locked. He stepped forward, boots grinding against the gravel, voice sharp as a blade. "Light it, soldier. That's an order." Aaron didn't flinch. He simply met his superior's gaze, steady, unbroken. When the captain raised his hand to strike, the recruit moved first. Not in anger, but in precision. He caught the captain's wrist mid-air, firm but respectful. The impact echoed, a dry, shocking sound that cut through the heavy air. For a moment, no one breathed. Then Aaron released his grip, saluted, and spoke softly. "An unjust command is no command at all, sir." The torch fell, its flame snuffed in the dirt. The captain's authority, once absolute, shattered in that instant. Every soldier around them stood frozen, their eyes wide, their discipline colliding with something far greater. Conscience.
The silence that followed was heavier than any explosion. The captain's face, once proud and unshaken, now burned with fury and humiliation. But even he knew, one wrong word, one misplaced punishment, and his entire unit would turn against him. They had all seen it. They had all felt it. For the first time, fear changed direction. Captain Viraj adjusted his uniform, forcing his voice to remain steady. "Report to the commanding office, immediately." Aaron obeyed, not as a criminal, but as a man who had stood his ground. That evening, inside the dim tent of Colonel Aditya Rao, the truth unfolded. The colonel had heard the rumors before the captain could spin them, and when he looked into Aaron's calm expression, he saw not rebellion, but honor. "You refused a direct order," the colonel said slowly. "Yes, sir." "Do you understand the weight of that decision?" "I do, sir. But I also understand the weight of conscience." The colonel leaned back, silent for a moment that felt eternal. Then he spoke, words that would echo far beyond the camp. "There are officers who command men, and there are soldiers who command respect. Today, you've shown which one truly leads."
When Aaron stepped out of the tent, the battalion's eyes followed him. None dared speak,
But their silence was no longer fear. It was admiration. That night, the campfire burned lower, the air thick with reflection. Every soldier there realized that obedience without morality is not loyalty, it's surrender. And one young recruit had reminded them all that true strength lies not in power, but in principle.
Months passed. The war moved on. Lines were redrawn, victories forgotten. But the story of that day, the moment a single recruit stood against corruption, did not fade. It traveled through camps, across borders, into the whispered lessons of military academies. Captain Virage was quietly transferred to a distant outpost. His authority, though never officially questioned, was never again trusted. His name became a caution, a symbol of pride without honor. And Arandas, he continued to serve, not as a hero, not as a rebel, but as a soldier who carried his integrity like a shield. In later years, when young cadets asked about leadership, officers would tell them, "Remember the recruit who refused. Remember that silence can command louder than rank." It was said that in his final days, when asked what gave him the courage to defy power, Aran smiled and replied, "When fear commands, dignity must answer." His words became a quiet creed among generations of soldiers, a reminder that the battlefield is not only where wars are fought, but where honor is tested. And so, long after the dust of that forgotten war settled, one act of conscience continued to march, in stories, in hearts, and in history itself.